Hello and welcome. In this lab, you will persist the state of your application using a persistent volume. You can find a PDF file with the full list of the commands you will run under the resources attached to this lab. Please download this PDF file now and keep it handy to help you with typing the commands for this lab. Launch your terminal and make sure you are at the Fibonacci sample/K8 directory. Run the following command to create the PV and the PVC. The PV and the PVC are created. Let's list the available PVs and PVCs. The listing shows us that there is a PV with the name Fibonacci backend PV, and it is bound to a PVC with the name Fibonacci backend PVC. Note that the status of the PVC is bound, and under its volume you can find the name of the PV it is bound to. Deploy version 3 of the Fibonacci backend using the following command. Wait for a minute for the V3 pods to be deployed and the older pods to be terminated. The deployment will take care of this for you. Now check the deployment history. You can see that the deployment is at revision 4 with change cause of Fibonacci backend v3. The change cause came from the deployment annotation as we have seen in the previous lecture. Now let's list the replica sets. A new replica set has been created for version 3. It has 5 replicas of the V3 pod, while the replica sets for V1 and V2 are scaled down to 0 replicas. Let's figure the Fibonacci of 50. Launch this URL in the browser. Note that the version is coming as v3.0 as we configured it. Refresh the browser a few times to get the response from different pods in the deployment. Now check if the logs made it to the log file on the host machine. The REST API server is printing the results to the log file. Our REST API application persisted state on a directory on the host machine. For demonstration, that was just a log file. You can use a PV to preserve important state information, such as the contents of a database. If persisted on a PV, the data will outlive the pods. Let's do a progress check of the application at this point. In this lab, you have persisted the state of your application using a persistent volume. You created a persistent volume that uses a directory on your machine, claimed it in a PVC, and mounted the PVC in a volume in your deployment. That's it for this lab. Thank you, and see you in the next lab.